Okay, so before we start that last topic, we're going to, of course, introduce our visitors today. So we have, of course, Dave from Loadout and, of course, Alan from Before the Sirens.
Alan.
Okay, here we do it. This is a difficult challenging topic because it can put some people's noses out. But each of us, who is your current favourite band in the Hertfordshire metal scene and why? And you are not allowed to pick your own band, guys.
I don't know anybody that would do that. That's like proper cringe.
It's like, I'm awesome. Right, I'm going to throw it over to you, Alan. I think the two guests have got.
Why did I open my mouth? I knew you'd ask me first.
Who do you really like to go and see? That's probably the best thing.
Okay. I will caveat this by a very short sentence. I hope it's a sentence, might be two, and that is that when you go to see up and coming bands, which is a phrase I hate, but still, like original bands that are just starting out, might have been around for a few years, but the likelihood is, unless you've seen them many times, you don't really know a huge amount about their back catalogue. You may know one or two songs because you've checked them out before you went to see them, or you're playing with them, or whatever else. But the real what I'm looking for when I see a sort of a band at this sort of level that we're discussing is to feel something. Is for them to bring something to the table that maybe you haven't seen before, or maybe it's just simply how tight they are, how aggressive they are, how like the way the vocal melodies are arranged or whatever. So I didn't ask you a question. My watch has just told me the answer to what I was just saying. Look, I said I don't know anybody who would talk about their own band. I wouldn't, obviously, because I said how cringy it was, but genuinely I love going out to see Lowdown. They're like, I'm not just saying that because he's here. I genuinely am not just saying that because he's here, because I've told him that. He knows it. They've got their own brand of things that they do compared to other bands that I see, certainly locally. And Dave's got a great voice. They're, shut up, Dave. They're technically, you're going to sit here and listen to me now, no matter how much you blush. But they're technically fantastic as well, and they write great songs. So, like I say, they've got that kind of groove. That's the feeling I'm talking about. That groove with Dave's voice over the top. Really, I really kind of feel inclined to be sort of glued to them on stage, and they have a presence about them. I remember the first time I saw Sentient. You mentioned them earlier in the video before Dave and I came on. They are just crushing. And JB's got that voice and he's got a presence. He's a big man, and he really fills that stage, and you find that's quite a hard. It's quite hard to look away, frankly, because they're so they've got a sort of magnetism about them. I'm giving you a list now because I don't want to just give you one, because you've asked me who is my favourite. Well, I'm not going to tell you one. But I'll be honest, look, you mentioned earlier in the video before Dave and I came on how strong the quarterfinals are for Metal to the Masses. I would say that there is a really strong offering and a really strong scene, like in that sense at the minute. The list of names, you talked about most of them earlier, frankly, but the list of names of bands that I would stand and watch because they are good at what they do in varying different subgenres, genres itself, or whatever, is quite a long old list. But as I say, I really enjoyed Dave's band, and I must admit the band I've seen recently that stood out for me was Sentient.
Okay. How about you, Dave, then?
So I moved up to Hertfordshire from southeast London about a year and a half ago. And I knew very little about the Hertfordshire metal scene. I'd played Club 85 quite a few times on tours, but I'd never really known a lot. So I've been pushing myself to go out to almost every Metal to the Masses gig, just to show support. In all honesty, to actually go out, and if I want to be part of the scene, I need to be part of the scene. So for me to do that, I've been going out to see a lot of bands, and I've got to say there are, like Alan said, there are several that stand out to me. I think that my favourite, because of the songwriting that I enjoy, vocally what I enjoy, aggression what I enjoy, and it's going to come across really weird now because of what's been said, is Before the Sirens.
you love. Oh,
it's a bromance.
What you haven't realised is Dave and I are in the next room to one another, and there's going to be a big cuddle in a minute.
He's got a really long arm, and it's just down here.
Remember.
So weirdly enough, like because I've met up with Alan quite a few times, outside of obviously doing the gigs and that, and and I do gel with Alan directly, and I do think that matters when you go and see a live band, and then you meet the person, and I've done it so many times that they're completely different. What the fuck is that? Just why are you acting? Be genuine, be you, and you will have people that will like you for what you do. But I really enjoy their sound. I really enjoy sort of the vocals that Alan puts out, and I think it's because we have a very similar taste in regards to how we grew up and what songs and what bands we listened to. A couple of like honourable mentions are, I think Millstone was someone that really surprised me. I was told about them by a few people that I tattoo, and they sort of said, "I'll go and watch them," and they happened to be playing a heat that I was going to, and yeah, the dude's voice just very impressive, very impressive. I enjoyed their sort of their look. Just everything that's kind of going on. Another honourable mention, Nomadic Rain. I think that they're doing something which I've never seen before. A female-fronted doomy band. Again, maybe it's because I haven't seen that many doom bands, but I really quite enjoy it. And again, Sentient, just a fucking machine. Yeah, I really enjoy them. So I'll be going to see them again.
Okay, let's throw it over to Kirk.
So we're talking about Hertfordshire. So there are some legendary bands in this county that are signed. Countless Skies. Wow, what a band they are. I really don't listen to much melodic death metal, but I think they've really re-energized that scene, and it was good to see them play that metal festival in Slovenia and do a European tour, and they're touring with that Danish black gaze band, Mole, aren't they? They've raised money online for that. They are a spectacular band, really gifted, great songwriters, really complex as well, but it's just so listenable. It's prog metal with death metal in there as well, and cellos, and really epic. Ross King, what a vocalist. Another band that are signed, who I absolutely love, they're signed to that avant-garde label, Trepanation Records, Everest Queen. Their last album, Andy, you'll probably back me up on this, is a classic. Murmurations. It made the Scream Blast Repeat top 50 albums of 2022, and they've really taken sludge and post-metal in a new direction. They're even incorporating Cocteau Twins and artists like that in there, and the main songwriter, Adam C. Taylor, who actually is a guitar teacher as well, very tasteful with his playing, but I've seen some of the chords that he's fretting, and is it me, when you watch them live as well, what a vocal, the might that he's got in his vocals, really impressive again. So they're the two that stand out that are signed, that have gone on to the next level. The band that most excites me is Burdensome on record. They've never really achieved that live sound, have they? The mix, they really need to sort it out, because Declan, fantastic vocalist, Owen on guitar, they remind me of one of my all-time favorite bands, Death, the band that invented death metal, Chuck Schuldiner. They've got a lot of that in their music. Carcass is in there as well, even Opeth and Gojira. So they really excite me. And then finally, the band that really got me into the scene, Jackal's Backbone. Probably, she's got to be one of the best vocalists in the country. I'm not just talking about the scene, and not just because she's female. listen to Jekyll's Backbone on record, the enunciation of Becca's vocals really harsh, but you can hear every word that she's delivering, and they have an interesting mix of sludge, punk rock, and primitive death metal. So that always excites me. So yeah, they're the ones that stand out for me. Burdensome as a band that have, like the others are relatively new. That's the one that I look out for. I'm really excited by them.
Okay, Andy.
This is such a tough question. I know why it's come the end of the session, Dave, but we have got, as everyone has said, we have got an amazing scene here in Hertfordshire. I don't know if this is replicated around the country. It's certainly not the case in sort of Cambridgeshire. I mean, there's some really good bands in Cambridgeshire, but there's not the depth and breadth of bands, in that particular city as we've got in sort of Hitchin, Hertfordshire, Hitchin, Stevenage, this area here. This is really difficult for me because I've been following the bands in this scene for about 6 years, and we, as I said, there's some that have passed and gone, and some that are still sort of playing and gigging from when I first started watching bands. The ones that I've seen certainly sort of mature and grow are bands like Elysian Divide. And Sentient, of course, has been mentioned, but this is really difficult for me because I am friends with a lot of people. But if I'll go back to what you said, Kirk, Countless Skies, I get goosebumps when I watch this band live. I get goosebumps when I play their album after I've just seen them, thinking I've just seen them perform this song, and it resonates with me still. From takes you back to that experience of the night before or 2 nights before when you've seen them perform it live. They are fantastic, and I'm looking forward to hearing their reworked versions of some of their classic songs with the added cello and string parts. Another band I'd add to the list, of course, that I would have done if the gig had gone ahead and would sort of travel a little bit further out to go and see, because I haven't seen them enough, and I think they are phenomenal and have grown as a band, and is Own Your Life. We talked about them earlier in the session.
Okay,
the great new EP.
Although they're Cambridgeshire based, that's why I didn't choose them.
Oh yes, that's a good point.
Yeah,
they've been struck out with the technicality, but they performed at our Metal to Masses Heat. So they're growing as a band. I'm looking forward to their new material. Their current EP is fantastic. I love their live shows as well, and you two guys here as well. Love what you're doing as well.
Yeah.
Alun in particular, I've seen before the Sirens for 3 or 4 years, and I'm drawn more and more to your material, your performances as a band, you as a front man. As I say, we're blessed with bands in this scene. It's so hard, and it's difficult for me with the current, sort of what's the word? Sort of financial position we all find ourselves in. I used to go to every single gig. People used to say to me, "Oh, why didn't you go last night?" They expect me to go to all these shows. I would normally go to all these shows, every single show at Club 85, at the Red Lion. But, money dictates you can't go to everything now, which is a real shame because we've got a great scene. And that's pretty much my summary of it. I love our local scene. I love the bands we play here. We're truly blessed.
Okay, well, it gives it down to me then to wrap up today's live stream with my thoughts on my favourite band of the Hertfordshire scene. And it is tough. You've all said it is really tough. And I'm going to give you my 4 runners-up that I also really enjoy going to watch, just, before I get to my final. So, Lowdown, you're in there. Absolutely love what you do. I love
you. Could have done a top 5, Dave. We all could have done a top 5. That made it a bit easier.
Well, you all did top 5 yourselves. You all gave me at least 7 or 8 bloody bands. So yeah, Lowdown's in there. Scarlet Envy, of course. Love what these guys do. Millstone, and mate, the thing for me with Millstone is it's because I've seen them last year when they did like their first proper live show, and how they've improved in the last 12 months, especially with James with his vocals, has got stronger and stronger and stronger. Kadama, absolutely love Kadama. Absolutely just so professional as a band. And really, the one band that I will always try and see if ever I can is Before the Sirens. And there's two main reasons for it. It's because I love the weight of the guitars, the breakdowns. Alan's got a great voice. You have.
Thanks, man.
It's very distinct. It's very unique. You've got power without having to go aggressive and growl. I'm not a big fan of growly vocals. I'm not a big fan of that kind of going full on screaming, and yet you get weight with a clean vocal style, which I really enjoy. And every other band that I've mentioned, we've talked about this when we talked about reactions. Sometimes you have to feel that you need to be in the mood to do it. So when we talked about reacting to bands and we're like, do you know what, I'm just not feeling in the mood to take it on tonight. And we've had to go through like a reactions night when we're not really vibing. But with Before the Sirens, if I'm feeling a bit down, you've got your music makes me feel a bit better. If I feel full of energy, I can get onto it. It doesn't matter what mood I'm in. I can still enjoy a Before the Sirens performance. So that's why you're my favourite band to check out. So there you go.
Thanks, man.
There you go. Oh, we've all been stroking Alan's ego today.
Oh, I don't know what to do now.
Oh,
I can't take compliments.
Andy, I just need to check. Technicality, no member of Musk Hill is currently based in Hertfordshire, are they?
Again, just throw another one in the mix. Yeah.
The reason I'm sure they're all from Bedfordshire, and Darryl, I think, even lives in Buckinghamshire. I can't think of any member that's from Hertfordshire, because they would be my number one, actually. So it's Countless Skies, but Dan definitely is from Luton way, Dunstable, I think.
I think it's just been so hard to actually pick out bands, because just narrowing it down, there is so many. I didn't even mention, like, for the heavier bands, Dead Flesh. I actually really love those guys.
I was thinking of that. Yeah, Praetorian.
There's just so many bands you could pick from, but a good.
Dave. One more, which I meant to do. When they were actively touring and sort of recording new material, I would say this is going back probably 2, 3, 4 years. Skullfuck from Stevenage.
Yeah.
Okay.
They've they've really turned their attention to grindcore and power violence, haven't they? And the heavier hardcore scene, those members. Yeah, they were cool.
When I heard their debut album, I thought, well, this sounds like a established, mature band who are creating some fantastic death metal with a bit of humour as well in some of the songs and the lyrics and everything. And then you find out they're like early 20, even teenagers from Stevenage. You know, you're kind of shocked. So they were the band that I really was looking forward to seeing, sort of 2-3 years ago. And I'm not quite sure what the state of the band is at the moment, but I'd like to see them sort of back on the scene, bringing out new material.
Okay.